Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Your host, V&M General Manager Kevin Jean and Iowa Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff will keep you up to date on what's happening on the best lakes in the Ark-La-Tex region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, two guys who have fished at a high level with Pro-Am experience with ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers with a wealth of knowledge and willing to share. So pull up a chair, kick back, and see why so many anglers watch Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome to Tackle Talk Live. Here we are in the heat of the summer in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and dude, it is hot, but that's okay. The fishing's been pretty hot as well, and we're going to talk about some of that on today's show. As we have got today, we got the winner of the ABA Solo 150. From Sam Rayburn, Texas, we got Mr. Kris Wilson coming on, Kevin, today. You had a great tournament.
I really did. I mean, I had a 26-pound stringer on day one, kind of a not so great day two. You had a little over 17 pounds.
I wish I'd have had that not such a great day on 17 pounds. It
wasn't a 26-pound day, we'll put it like that. But had a total weight of 43.70 to barely edge out. Kevin Lazion from right here in Louisiana had a two-day total weight of 43.22
ounces.
So Kevin had 16 on day one and 26.64 on day two. And Steve, you know, as I looked through the results of all this, it was like one of the day one, day two, it didn't matter. Day one, Kris had his 26-pound bag. Yeah. Day two, Kevin Lazion had his 26-pound bag. There was another 25-pound bag caught on day one that had 10 pounds on day two. Yep. So it was kind of a lot of up and down for this two-day tournament this weekend.
A typical summertime event. I mean, you know, they bite early in one spot, and you get lucky and you catch them right there, and you put them in the boat. And as a matter of fact, Kris has got a great story. We'll get him to tell the story on what he did. Let's put it this way. He weighed in early. But anyhow,
what time early? How early are we talking?
Before 9 o'clock.
Wow.
So he was eating breakfast in Jasper, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. And we're also going to wrap up the Skeeter Owners Tournament. Yes, it was a couple of weeks ago, but we still want to kind of touch on that a little bit and give you an idea of kind of what's going on and how they caught him at Lake Fork, Texas. But before we get to Kris Wilson, we're going to take a real quick break. Also, we got our poll question out there. Make sure you check our Facebook page. And this week's poll question is, with emphasis on fish care this time of year, should bass tournament organizations go to a 3-fish limit for all the events for June through August? We want your opinion on that, and because we know all of us anglers, we understand you babysit from 8 o'clock on, and you hope you can keep them suckers all alive and that they're not hooked too deep or whatever.
And I want to see too, Steve, the difference in the guys that – there's a lot of guys that don't even fish, that still don't fish deep even this time of year.
No.
That are just shallow water hammers, and they want – I feel like they want that 5-fish tournament.
Yeah.
The 5-fish limit, but also if you're catching them shallow, probably a good chance that in the live well, if you're a frog fisherman this time of year, just go flipping all day long, probably a good chance those fish are going to stay alive in a live well.
Right,
but they don't realize those deep fish, man, they're hard to keep alive this time of year.
Yep, they really are. So. And that was talking to a lot of the guys that I fished against last week. That was their issue, was the fish they caught deep, keeping them upright. And if you don't have those clip weights, I'm telling you, Kevin gave me a couple of them a couple of years ago, and they came in handy for me. One of them, two of them came in handy this past weekend for me, kept fish alive for me, kept fish upright, and made a big difference. And I know some buddies of mine lost some fish because they didn't have that.
Yeah, so. And you know, Steve, looking at, I mean, this was a 5-fish limit tournament this past weekend. Looking at the penalties, it really wasn't that bad. So
no, it wasn't too bad.
Looks like everybody did a pretty good job keeping them alive for this past weekend.
Yep, they really did. So, again, we're going to have Kris Wilson on here in just a minute. We're going to take a real quick break. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your healthcare needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6, just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry two of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support Garment and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's Four-Way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santone, Spro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49 or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. I'm Ranger Daiwa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with V&M General Manager Kevin Jean, and thank you for tuning us in today. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. This segment presented by Toledo Health, the Boat Shop in Shreveport, 3J's Four-Way, home of Cypress Knee Outdoors. If you're coming up I-49, exit 127 is the one you need to turn off on and head east. It's less than a mile right off the interstate. Great deli, great selection of V&M baits and any kind of other bait and product you're after. Hunting supplies. It won't be too long. You dove hunters will be looking for some shotgun shells. Make sure you check out Cypress Knee Outdoors right there, located inside 3J's Four-Way, right off the exit 127 off I-49. On the Tackle Talk Hotline, we have the winner of the 2-day event of the Solo 150 Tour, Mr. Kris Wilson. Kris, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good. How are y'all?
Good. You figure out how you gonna spend all that money yet?
I think it's already spent.
Fix to say, I bet the wife has already figured that one out.
No, he's spending on gas.
Hey, Kris, real quick before we get started, I'm assuming you're fishing the Texas Shootout this coming weekend.
I am. Yes.
Okay. Look, anything, and we haven't had a chance to talk here, Steve. So anything that you want to kind of stay away over or stay away from talking about with that big of a tournament coming on this weekend, just, hey, all you got to do is just say, man.
Just say, plead the fifth.
Yeah, plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. So we don't want to pry too much, but we do want to hear how it all went down for sure.
And Kris, jumping right into it, you had 26-23 on day one. And the story I heard, because I was out there in that heat fishing against you, was that you were weighing in by 8:30 or were sitting in Jasper, Texas by 9 eating breakfast?
No, sir. That was not me. That was the guy that was in second that had 25.
That was a 10-pounder.
Oh, that was the 10-pound guy. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, good deal. So it wasn't you then. All right. Well, I was wondering.
No, I wasn't all that good.
Well, tell us
26-23 on day one. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was
Kris.
fixing to say.
Is this I know you're one of those guys that can really pull up on a deep school and make it happen quick. Did the 26 pounds, did it happen first thing right off the bat in the morning, or did it kind of take you all day to catch them?
And it kind of took me all day, to be honest. So I practiced a couple days for this event, and it was kind of, not great offshore. I think the lake is still high enough to where there's still a lot of fish shallow. So, I kind of split my time up a little bit, and I had some grass fish. I had like 3 or 4 places in the grass and that I found in practice. And then I also had some frogfish, and I ended up starting on the frogfish the first day, and I caught 3, and they weren't real big. One of them was about 3 pounds, but I ended up culling all those by the end of the day. So all 10 fish that I weighed in came offshore, and I never did go to my grass fish.
I got you.
Yeah, so he's saving them for this week. He's saving them for this week.
The second day, I probably should have, but it all worked out.
I think it worked out when you win it.
I caught them all offshore, like 18 to 25 feet.
18 to 25.
Oh, wow.
That 26 pounds, Kris, was it one spot? Was it multiple spots?
No, it was multiple spots.
Multiple spots.
And I kind of had like 3 different types of deals going. Now I had 2 different places where I caught some on a big crankbait in practice. And so I weighed in 3 fish, 2 the first day and 1 the second day on the the big crankbait, C25.
Mm-hmm.
And those fish weren't about 20 feet. And then I had 2 other spots that were just timber, like little kind of turns and timber on drops, like 18 to 22. And then the rest, everything else, I just ran some brush piles and picked up a few fish here and there on brush piles. That was pretty much the extent of all the fish I caught during the tournament.
Now, Kris, did you have trouble? I know there were some guys, probably I can think of 4 or 5 guys that actually weighed in early just because one of them had battery trouble and a couple of other ones just said they were worried about keeping their deeper fish alive that they were catching. So they went ahead and took a chance and weighed in. Some of them an hour and a half early. Did you make that? But did that come across your mind to maybe do that?
No, man, I kept a close eye on my fish though, for sure. But I put ice and kept the live wells cool, and I took good care of the fish, and I never had any problems with them.
Kris,
I had a couple that I had to fizz, and
yeah.
I also use those fin clips. I'll try to use the fin clips first,
Yeah.
But they were all healthy, as long as I think, just take care of them.
Kris, what is the depth that is there a certain depth when you catch one, say out of 18 plus, that you think you need to put the clip on or fizz, or do you wait till you put them in the live well and see if they're rolling over?
Yeah, I just put them in the live well because it's random to me. I mean, I've caught, in the past, I've caught fish out of like 6 or 7 feet, and then you put them in there and they roll up and they get bloated, and then I've had, fish I've caught deep, and you never had any problem with them. So.
Yeah, all the fish are different. You kind of got to play it different by each and every fish. Kris, some of those deeper fish you said you caught in the timber, was any of them off forward-facing sonar or just on deep spot you're cranking?
I could see some of them on forward-facing sonar, but I wasn't just relying on just the forward-facing sonar. It was just I used it as a tool, It was an aid to help me, and I could see some of them on a few of the places.
Right.
So, Kris, what happened on what was it that happened on day 2 that because it ain't like you had a big 10-pound kicker on day 1. Your average dropped quite a bit down to 1747. What do you really think triggered that? I mean, did you hit the same areas? Did you go to new water?
I did. I did repeat some of the same places that were good for me the first day, and I don't think I caught a fish off of any of the same places the second day, and I'm not real sure, exactly what changed, if it was the fishing pressure or what. But I mean, there was a couple of my places that I wanted to fish. There was a lot more boats out there on Saturday for sure, and I think that factored into it. But it was weird because I've had a couple of places that nobody else was fishing, and I thought I would be able to catch some, and I did not get bid on them the second day for whatever reason. I'm not real sure what changed, but it was the first day I think I had somewhere between 15 and 20 bites, like offshore bites, and the second day I had 7, so it was much tougher.
Well, and I wasn't out fishing this past weekend, but it's obvious to see by the weights. Friday and Saturday was 2 completely different days.
Yeah.
Even second place Kevin Lazion had 1658 on day 1, at 2664 on day 2. Third place Tom Nielsen had 2573 on day 1, had 1027 on day 2, and you can go down the list, Stephen. That's what it looks like. There's there's not a whole lot of consistency. Fifth place, Clay Phillips had 17 on both days.
Right.
But other than that, somebody, they really caught him on one day and, caught him okay on the other day. And it didn't look like it mattered. It just looked like there was two completely different days of fishing. And even on Saturday, some guys had a good bag on Saturday.
What about you practice fishing? Clay, what is your Kris, what is your approach on practice fishing? Did you
how did practice go for you?
Yeah, how did it go? Did you locate these fish and said, okay, I just need to leave these alone?
I found a couple spots that I was excited about. But overall, it was kind of random, to be honest. And I did, the first day I thought I was going to fish deep, and then I got out there and found that it was a little more difficult than I'd hoped. So that's what made me go. I tried to find some grass fish just for backup, and I ended up, finding some pretty decent grass fish. But like I said, I never ended up going to them in the tournament.
Yeah.
But and then I did a lot of graphing also, so there was a lot of stuff that I didn't really know, if I was going to catch them on or not. But,
right.
Yeah.
So would you say that you spent time probably both north and south of 147 Bridge? You probably spent time on both ends?
I did.
Yeah.
He runs around. I know that much about Kris. He will run around and cover a lot of water. Kris, coming up this weekend, Texas Shootout, first place, $50,000. Best of the best on Sam Rayburn is going to be there. It's going to be hot. Give me your prediction. It's a 1 day, so everybody's going to go for all of it.
That's a Sunday event, right?
That is a Sunday. The tournament is on Sunday. Give me your prediction here for this weekend for the Texas Shootout to win it.
Okay. Well, I think I know the lake is dropping, not rapidly, but it's dropping and it's getting so hot. I predict that the tournament's probably going to get one offshore, and I think it's going to take probably a high 20s, 28, 29-pound bag to get it done. Not saying I'm going to catch that, but I think somebody will.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I can definitely, I can see 30 even because, you had 3 bags over 25 this weekend in a single event tournament. So a team deal, I can definitely see high 20s, probably 30. I'm going to go ahead and out on a limb and say 30, 31 winning it this weekend. Being a 1 day deal, I don't see anything really changing the weather. So good chance. I know even this past weekend in y'all's 150 deal, y'all had a 10-pounder caught. So, still some good fish biting. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing the results, see how you do. But, Kris, man, I appreciate you coming on, kind of talking to us about your win. And, and good luck this weekend. All
right. I appreciate it, guys.
All right. Kris Wilson from Montgomery, Texas. 2-day total of 43.70. And we'll have more on this. We'll kind of wrap this event up. We're going to take a look at the Solo 150, wrap it up, and we'll also give you the results of Skeeter Owners Tournament at Lake Fork a couple of weeks ago. All this and much more when we return with more Tackle Talk Live.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning us in today. This segment presented by Pride Rods, Keys, Toledo Bend Tackle, and the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Texas. Thank you one and all for tuning us in. With tournaments coming up, tournaments coming to a halt. We'll be taking a summer break here at Tackle Talk Live, but we will return by September as circuit championships and regional events start to take place in that month. As we all know, September, October, and even kind of into November, that's big months, Kevin. Guys fish all year to get to those tournaments, and so we'll be covering a lot of that as well. But
we'll have the winner on, hopefully the winner of the Texas Shootout this weekend. We'll have them on next week. And then we're going to take July and August off just because there's not a whole lot going on. kind of like we did last year. We're going to do some more work here at Tackle Talk Live. Add some more sponsors. We'll hopefully have some new sponsors coming on board for you guys. Revamp the show, getting ready for the fall and for the upcoming winter season 2023. Kind of getting ready to kick all of that off. So.
Yeah, that's why it's important. When you go to our YouTube page, make sure you click subscribe, because that way you'll get notifications when we're going to be returning. And, of course, we'll be posting on our Facebook page when we're coming back. But, anyway, stay tuned for that. And we'll still be posting stuff on our Facebook page from time to time. More poll questions maybe. And we do appreciate the response. Man, that is great. A couple of poll questions we've gotten really great response to. And we appreciate that because, man, that gives us some good feedback, a lot to talk about, and gives us different viewpoints of how you guys are thinking out there. So, but real quick, the final results, Kevin, of the Solo 150, kind of give us a little rundown there, maybe top 10.
So, again, Kris Wilson with the win, 43.70. Very, very close second place. Kevin Lazion with 43.22. Third place, Tom Nilsson had 36 pounds even for a two-day weight. Had 25.73 on day one. Fourth place, Blake Schroeder had a two-day weight of 35.43. Fifth place, Clay Phillips had 34.62. Walt Stevens was sixth place with 33.46. Keith Jones, seventh place, was 30 pounds, 11 ounces. Cole Garrett from right here, Winfield, Louisiana, 25.65. Jared Norris, 25.44. And 10th place, Bill Bean from Eufaula, Oklahoma, had 24.06.
And kind of looking at, again, that was the final tournament for the Solo 150, and kind of wrapping up this year. Congratulations goes to our good friend. I know he's a V&M pro for Kevin Jean, Kevin Lazion. Just absolutely had a fantastic year. Pretty much blew this thing out of the water. He had 742 points. The closest one to him was Harmon Davis, who had a really good year as well for 727 points. And Tom Nielsen was third with 718. Bruce Anderson was fourth with 704. Bill Bean was fifth with 703. Justin Little was, there was three guys tied for fifth. Bill Bean, Justin Little, and Robert Brooks all tied for fifth. And then Walt Stevens finished eighth with 688. Tied with Billy Risley and also Robert Sparks. All three of those guys tied for eighth. And finishing out against Brandon White, he made the top 11. He had 685 points. Cole Garrett was 12th. Yours truly was 17th. No, I'm sorry. Yours truly was 25th. 17th is where I'm at. No, 11th where I'm at in another circuit. But anyway, congratulations to all you guys, especially Kevin Lazion. Man, we're proud of you. He's become a consistent top angler, Kevin.
Oh, he's been that for
he really
10 years.
has. I mean, I used to pre-fish with Kevin on FLW Tour as a co-angler. Kevin's he's really become a very well-rounded angler and can catch them just about everywhere he goes.
Yeah, no, he can. I mean, he's been doing it a long time, and he's every weekend. Sam Rayburn, Toledo, it don't matter what lake you're on. And when y'all went up there to Oklahoma, what did he get second up there?
Yeah,
Kevin's been doing it a long time, and he's very, very good at it, no doubt about it.
Moving on to Bass Champs, real quick, wrapping up the 2-day. It was a 1-day event over there at Lake Fork, Texas. June 11th was the date of this. The Skeeter Owners Tournament, and Kerry Halter.
Yeah, 11-pound. 11-pounder won the 2022 FXR20 with a Yamaha show on it.
Yep, and then the next largest bass under the slot, which is what they do at Fork, a 297 came in from Sam Bounds, Wichita Falls, Texas. He had a 2.97. He won a 2022 Yamaha Viking V1 EPS, so congratulations to him as well. And then let's see here. Second big fish was what, Kevin?
Was a 925. Daryl King from right here, Dry Prong, Louisiana, had a 925. See, there was 9 overs weighed in.
Yes.
So he had 925 and 860, 851, 831, 832, 831, 749, 626. Get this. This is an over, a 599 over. That was that's a long, skinny fish. Yeah.
I
caught a 9.3 on Lake Fork that was in the slot.
Yeah.
And this is a 599 over. I mean, that's the smallest over I've ever heard
I've released several 6 and 7 pounders that were actually in the slot at Lake Fork. So, and I'm going to say this, and I'm glad you brought that up, Kevin, because a lot of times, guys, this is why you don't throw your plastic in the water. Throw your plastic in the bottom boat. A lot of times these fish that are like that have digested plastic and they can't pass it through their system, so they start to lose weight. The fish was probably healthy. I bet he was a good.
I almost said I wanted to see a picture of it, but I don't. That has to be nasty.
Yeah,
it's a 6-pounder, 599. It's a 6-pounder, but still, even the 626. That's to be a 6-pounder to be 24.
Yeah.
Inches long. That doesn't have a lot of 7s are there. I say a lot. There's several 7s, 8s that are, but there's
Well, that fish could easily probably, if it was eating healthy and digesting properly, and it may not be the case with the plastic, but that's the case a lot of times. With
I know
plastic.
10-pounders out there that has been caught that has not been over the slot.
I agree.
A 599, a 6-pounder that is that. Ooh.
So make sure you throw your plastic in the bottom of your boat and throw it away when you get to the bank and put your boat on trailer. Also, another thing I'm seeing a lot, and I don't know if it's just the way I fish, I'm snagging a lot of fishing line, guys. If you're leaving fishing line out there, if you see the fishing line and you pull it, don't just cut it with a pair. Try to pull that fishing line in, because you never know. That line that somebody else left in the water may cost you a big fish down the road that you need.
Cause you a trolling motor prop or a big
exactly,
motor prop.
or engine problems on the back end, eating through those seals. So and make sure, that's another thing. That's another good tip by Kevin right there. Make sure you check your props when you come off these lakes, because this time of year, a lot of people out there fishing, and there's a lot of stuff in the water. It's not like it is in the wintertime. Check your props, even after you've come off the lake. Make sure you don't have any fishing line wrapped around, because they will eat them seals up and cause you major repairs. So, okay, moving on. The poll question, we've got it out there with emphasis on fish care this time of year. Should bass tournament organizations go to 3 fish limit for events June through August? We want your opinion on that. We'll talk about more about that next week. Kevin, got some upcoming events. June 26th, Bass Champs this weekend. We already talked about
Texas Shootout on Sunday. I think practice day is Saturday.
Yep.
Big event I'm looking for, as I alluded to earlier when I was talking to Kris, high 20s, 30-pound bag. But I also think, 15, 16, depending on how many they have in it and how many they pay down, 16 pounds or so gets a check. But, looking at the Solo 150, you had 3 bags over 25 in an individual tournament.
Yeah.
So it's a one-day deal, but it's a team deal, and it's the right guys on Sam Rayburn. I'm going to say close to 30 wins it.
Yeah, $500 per team. There, 200. The payout is based off of 200 teams, $50,000 first place. And so they're paying all the way down to 24th. And so big bass is $1,000. The $50,000 is guaranteed, no matter if 200 boats show up or 100. So that money is guaranteed. And so once again, Bass Champs, they do it right. Chad Potts and his gang over there, they do a tremendous job.
And you know, another term a while ago we didn't talk about, the Outlaw Outdoors Father's Day tournament was this past weekend.
Yeah.
Had a really good turnout. They had 113 teams that fished the tournament. 74 of the teams were a father-child team. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Clayton Boulware and his dad, he got his dad out of retirement. Roger Boulware won the tournament, 3-fish tournament now, 17-12. 17-12.
Good back. Good back.
Tommy Loving and Wyatt Loving had 16-64. Garrett Darter and Luke Wolf had third place with 14-59. Steve just had some really good back. They paid all the way down to 16th place.
Yeah. That's why I saw Clayton. I saw Clayton out there Saturday. He must have been pre-fishing for that event. So I did.
1089.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, you had a bunch of 12-pound bags. 10th place was 12-12. So that's 3 fish. That's a 4-pound average.
Yeah, those are good fish.
There might not be a lot of quality biting right now, Sam Rayburn. But there's some good, not a lot of quantity biting right now on Sam Rayburn, but there's good quality. Some good fish have been being caught. I mean, 17 pounds wins a 3-fish derby. 16 is second, 14 is third. I mean, that's a good weekend.
Well, some buddies of mine, we went to dinner after the second night of practice, the night before the tournament started, our first day event of the 2-day event, and we were talking about. It's just we're into basically almost July, end of June, and guys are still catching 26 and 25-pound bags, Kevin. Yeah. That's a testament to me. Texas Parks and Wildlife, my hat's off to you guys, because whatever you're doing over there, Rayburn, you're doing it right, because the pressure that lake is getting, and I can't tell you, Kevin, I'm catching more and more fish, and that brings me up to another thing I want to bring up right now. Coal rings. Guys, please get away from sticking fish and ripping these fish with the metal clips. Get away from those, because I caught 4 fish on day 2 that all had tears in the lower jaw, 2.5, 3-inch gaps. That affects the fish's ability to feed. Try to go to the clips that you just clip them on, and don't puncture the fish with those metal clips. I'm telling you, that is so detrimental to those fish that you just don't. And they're cheap. It's not like they cost $400. You can get a good set of clips for $25. I mean, come on, guys. The money we spend more on spinner baits than we do on. I mean, take care of your fish. And it's kind of aggravating the more I caught them, the more aggravated I got.
And all the companies make the good clips now.
Yeah, they make good clips out there. To get away from those metal clips, they ought to ban those in tournaments. As a matter of fact, I wish they may make a suggestion that they do that.
So you're talking about the tournaments and the still good fish getting caught. So this tournament was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Same day as y'all's day 2.
Our final day. Yeah.
So on Friday, on the 150, they had a 10-pounder caught.
Right.
And this is hot, middle of the summer, into June fishing. Steve, on Saturday, this Outlaw Outdoors Father's Day tournament had a 955 and an 884 weighed in.
Wow.
So in 2 days, they had a 10, a 9, and an 8 weight on Sam Rayburn this weekend.
Yeah.
That's Sam
strong.
Rayburn's still going pretty strong.
Because most lakes this time of year, you see these weights in the spring, but you don't see them in the summertime.
No.
It's rare. I remember the days when 20-pound bag in the summertime, you do. You caught them. But
yes. I mean, Rayburn does this every year. It's still pretty good. And here's the thing, in my opinion on this, and Kris alluded to it, there's still some good fish shallow.
Yeah.
You can go catch them frogging. You can catch them flipping grass or in the grass. You can catch them out deep. You can catch them in brush pile. You can catch them on ledges. You can catch them around timber.
Right.
You can catch them however you want to.
Right.
And as Kris said, he just kind of caught them all throughout the day.
Yeah.
Big fish are still feeding. They're still biting. Now, Rayburn does this, and every year, I mean, I remember, it's been probably 6-7 years ago, I fished that Father's Day tournament with my stepdad. We had 16-something, 3 fish. We had 16 pounds. We got like 7th place.
Right.
So that's how good it was that weekend then as well.
Yeah.
But like this weekend coming up, I think it's going to be a good weekend, and then it's going to fall off.
Right.
July, August,
yeah.
it's fixing to start getting tough. Those big fish are fixing to go into straight lockdown mode. They're going to get out there and suspend in 40, 50 foot of water. I think they're going to get really, really hard to catch then. They're still catchable right now. There's still going to be some good bags waiting this weekend.
Exactly. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, man, why do they have tournaments right this time of year? Why don't they just ban tournaments? I said, dude, there's so many organizations out there. They can't get boat ramps. They're having to go into the summertime because they're forced to do that because there's no boat ramps available from January through May. So now that pushes them all the way into June and July now, trying to get their circuits complete and get them in. So you guys complaining about these summer tournaments, again, I hate them too. And I wish we would go to the 3 fish limit. And I think it's something more and more organizations may start implementing as we get in down the road. But that's why we want your opinion on that. Also, July 2nd on Toledo Bend Army Recreation Park monthly bass tournament out of Fort Polk National Wildlife Refuge on Toledo Bend Rec Center. July 16th, Sportsman's Bass Club of Southwest Louisiana Open Team Tournament. It's a night tournament. It's out of Big Bass Marina, 7 in the morning till 7 at night. 7 at night till 7 in the morning. And then July 23rd, Tackle Box Toledo Bend Open Shootout. That's also a team night tournament. Also out of Big Bass Marina from 7 p.m. till 3 a.m. So you'll have a 3 o'clock weigh-in. That would be, I guess, Saturday morning. So anyway, that's what's coming up. So if you're looking to fish anything, especially if you're looking to fish a night tournament, you got 2 of them coming up on Toledo Bend. And so have fun with that.
I think that wraps up, Steve.
I'm done.
Good luck to all the guys fixing the shootout this weekend. Be careful, especially in the heat. Put your bag of ice in live well. Keep those fish alive. Keep them good and alive.
One thing, and I'm glad we're talking about this once again with the keeping your fish alive. One thing that I practice, and I think it's a great tip, I take 6 or 7 16-ounce bottles that I've used maybe from Coke bottles or whatever, and I mix G-juice with water and I freeze them, and that way every hour starting at 9 o'clock, I drop one of those bottles, unscrew the lid, drop it in the live well, that ice starts to thaw and melt and it oozes out that G-juice. Also cools your water down at the same time. I'm telling you, I ain't lost a fish in my live well, my Ranger live well, I've lost one in 4 years, and it was probably because it was hooked too deep. But take care of your fish. That's what I do. It works great for me. Keep ice on hand. Make sure you keep that water cooled down, and put your water in there first thing in the morning. Put it on recirculate right then and there, because as you're recirculating hot water off the lake all day, there's less oxygen in that hot water. So get your water cooled down. Put it on recirculate. Put your rejuvenate in there. And let them fish, and they'll be healthy as heck at 3 o'clock come weigh-in time when you pull them out. So, but that's it. That's our tip of the week, and I'm off my soapbox for this week. So, but thank you for tuning us in. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or our podcast. And if you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on Facebook. Kevin will get a packet out to you as soon as possible. For Kevin Jean, our producer, James Stanfield, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.